Welcome back to Viewer's Voice. Now, for this episode, I want to talk about the nature versus nurture argument. Now, obviously, to get this out the way immediately, obviously, for each and every person, both play a role. Like, don't get me wrong, we all know this. Like, even if you're more nurture than nature, there's still a bit of nature. Not even just a bit, a majority. So, both these play a huge role. You may see that as 50-50 or one overlapping the other a little more. Cause I know that's how I see it. Now, for me personally, and for maybe a little bit other people that I may notice, I feel like nurturing plays a bigger role than nature does. Now, obviously, you can argue for the opposite side and believe nature plays a huge role compared to nurture, and to each your own, right? There's no wrong argument here. But personally, I do believe that someone's nurture, someone's environment, someone's experiences, and the things that they go through and encounter throughout life, those tend to change a person more than their nature, more than their genetics and their family lineage. More than that plays a role. Now, of course, genetics do play a role in your life. Your legacy, your ancestry, that's gonna play a role in your life. Maybe you had a whole legacy of teachers in your family tree. Right, your father's a teacher, your mother's a teacher, their grandparents were teachers, so on and so forth. So it's only right by your nature that you're good at education, you're good at teaching education, and you become a teacher yourself out of the nature aspect. But nurture can play a huge role in that too. Your family themselves, you yourself may carry this trait of being educationally wise. However, due to your experiences, you may go down a different path. You may find things that speak more to you and are more truth to you. And I do believe, if anything, nature plays a huge role in building the foundation of where our nurture takes us. Now, with that, you may think, oh, if that's the case, then shouldn't nature overweigh nurture? Not necessarily. Like, of course, by default, we're going to be built up of our genetics and things of that sort. However, the path we get led down is all a matter of the things that we've experienced is the things that we experience, and there's a accumulation of the things that we've come across in our nurture aspect, in our environment, and the people we encounter, the situations. That's what leads us down the path that we take and shape something completely different of it. Now, some people may not know their nature. Some people may not know where they come from, or what was before them. Therefore, majority of them will only be built of the nurture. Some people may be the opposite. Some people, all you know is your nature and where you come from, and maybe you weren't let to be able to expand, and like explore your nurture side, because all it's been about is your nature. Maybe you have a father that adores sports, and his childhood, his whole life, whatever, was all about sports: baseball, basketball, football, soccer, lacrosse, whatever. That's all he knew. So now, for you, that's all you're gonna know. Maybe because that's something that he put upon you, or maybe you just want to be just like him, and that's something that you want to do for yourself, and that's all you know, potentially. But the thing is, the more you get to understand yourself, whether that be looking into your history, your past, your ancestry, or maybe getting out there and seeing the things that attract you, and maybe the opposite, things that push you away. That's where you truly figure out who you are. And it doesn't take a deep dive into going back into the past, going into family history to find that. You can find yourself in a plethora of ways. But understanding that it does take both sides, and just figuring out which side speaks to you more, that's important. And another thing too, with the whole nurture side, is understand, like, if you are missing pieces of your identity or who you believe you are, nurture could help out with that. Maybe you see yourself in other people, you see yourself in this area. That's gonna speak to you. Of course, you're gonna see yourself in your family members, because that's blood. That is a part of you in a sense. But if you feel like you still lack a little bit of who you are, never be afraid to go find out where that may be, where that missing piece of yourself can potentially reside. And as for the nature part, it's not bad to stray away from that, or even do the opposite and just indulge and engage in every bit of your family history and your culture and all that kind of thing. That's never bad, because we all share our deep roots, whether it's to ancestors or just the immediate feeling that we have. For me, I feel like in terms of what my mom and my dad do, I'm kind of like split down the middle. Now my dad's a comedian. He does things that like are more entrepreneurial, right, or more self-employed, and allow him to navigate the things that he wants to do in his life. And I admire that. That's something I want to do now. Even do something that I could be more in control of, that speaks to me, that's truthful to me, regardless of the heights I can reach with it. It's something that I want to do because it can help other people the same way it speaks truth to me. Now my mom, she's a nurse. She helps people. She does things that benefit others, which is something I also truly adore. Right? I love helping other people, even if it's not medically or physically, passion of someone's wound. Regardless, I feel like, based on the nature sense, these are two things that have very much been genetically coded in my system, in my body, that I could take of. But at the same time, I feel like nurturing has also taught me a lot, especially within my brain capacity. I feel like a lot of things I've always taken in may not have always come from the adults around me. They may have come from adults on the internet, adults I've come across while being in school or being in this area, whatever. These are things that also speak to me outside of the whole family tree and outside of the genetic material that I'm built of. And I feel like there's a lot of other people that could experience that too. If you, like I said, were struggling with trying to figure out who you may be or which side you could lean on more to figure that out, just see whether you feel like family speaks to you or you yourself, your life experiences speak to you a lot more. And it's also important to not try to push your nature on someone else. And what I mean by that is, let's say you're an adult, you're a parent, and like I said, maybe your mom or your dad was in an occupation such as like business or being a teacher, and you believe that your son or your daughter or whoever should carry out that same exact dream. Your whole family was this, is not a third. You gotta carry on that legacy. You gotta make us proud and continue this down the line. You can't try to push that on someone else because that's a different person. And at some point, that thing that you're trying to push onto them, that legacy that you guys carry, it will end, but that's not a bad thing. Because the more you try to drag out a legacy, the more you might tarnish what it's known for, and you may ruin it. Like, picture trying to pass down your legacy to someone that doesn't care about it at all. What do you expect to happen? Whereas if you just leave the legacy where it is right now, at its peak, or it's doing really good, that's okay. Now, obviously, that's different for business. If you have a thriving business that's really successful, obviously you don't want to just give that to some random person that you don't know, especially if it's a family business, right, or something that you truly cherish. I understand that, but understand that the person that you may be trying to give it to in the first place, they really might just not want it, even if that person is family or your kin. They may just not want it because, like I said, these are different people, and nature isn't everything. Of course, nature is not everything. Their nurture side may be playing a big role. Maybe they've been more surrounded by people that just want to do things for themselves and navigate their own life, and maybe they feel like you trying to pass on something from your life and from your parents' lives and so on isn't a part of them, because that's not something that they've made. Maybe they want to make a whole new business themselves, something that's truly for them and sticks out for them, and that's okay, because what that shows you is that they still carry a bit of your nature, trying to do something for yourself, a business, but doing something that's for their nurture as well, being independent, not having things passed down to them just because in their family or just because you did it before them and your parent did it before you and so on. It's okay to do things for yourself and understand things and navigate things for yourself too, because that allows you at the end of the day to figure out who you are and who you can be. I I'll say that's gonna be all for this video. I thank you all for listening, and I'll see you guys in the next one.